the mystery solved the other wire. Didn't really look back too far, but the other, what I thought was a power wire, is actually just powering the electric choke. So yeah, everything should work fine then. As long as we get the voltage, you know, as long as we get that proper voltage, everything should be good at the end. I'm running the power wire and then the wires out of the Pertronix over to the coil. So the wire I'm messing with now is the 12 volt hot that turns on when the ignition's on. Then you have to run this red wire from the distributor also to the coil, because this will power the electronics that are inside the distributor. Then your ground wire goes to the negative on the coil, and this is what actually triggers your coil to, you know, fire on and off. Is the points? This would be like the points reference on an old points distributor.
So Justin, there are two positives going to the coil there. What's up with that?
Yep. One is the wire from the fuse box from the ignition switch. That's giving the ignition the 12 volt power. And then the other one is actually going back to the distributor, which is powering the electronics in the distributor. Then the ground is from the distributor to actuate the actual coil. Just putting them all on here now, and then we got to make the spark plug wire, because your old HEI distributor on Chevy HEIs, the coil's built into it.
Which is this guy.
Yep, the coil's right underneath that cap. It's a square thing. So those distributors are all kind of self-contained. We're actually going like back in technology now and going back to the old external canister coil that the car came with.
But as we learned, these things are what work on small block Fords.
Well, yeah, it makes the distributor much smaller. You don't have to have that big brick in the middle of it, because that thing, it's like twice the size of the distributor that you're putting in it.
Right. Justin is explaining a very specific skill, and it's wiring up new coil wires as opposed to spark plug wires.
Well, yeah, this goes for the spark plug wires too, but they just sent this just length of wire for us to make the coil out of. You can tell it's kind of missing ends. It's not too useful. So they gave this bag of ends over here we have on top of this classy Coleman cooler. They gave like a variety of ends, and with this car we're going to need to use one Chevy HEI end and then one old points end, and I'll show you why on back on the car. This Pertronix distributor uses what's called an HEI contact point for the wires, in which case it has male terminals coming out of the distributor cap into a female terminal on the wire, which would be going into this piece, which actually gets crimped on the wire. So you'll see it'll snap over like that. The coil end, this coil we got, still uses what's called a socket style, which is what the points cars used. So you have a piece like this that goes in the wire, and this actually goes into the coil. And it would do the same thing on the distributor cap if it was a point style distributor cap. And then the boot on it actually goes over. So that's what we're going to have to make as far as this wire goes. Coil wire's on, I just put the rest of the spark plugs and wires back. Okay, so we got everything all wired up, and when we went to start it, and initially it didn't start. It's for two reasons. One, the carburetor was empty of fuel, but also when I checked, as I was worried about, the ignition was only getting 9 volts, which is usually these newer distributors and stuff won't fire anything less than like 11.5. They just won't function. So I thought there was a resistor in the wire, which is what they factory had to bump the voltage on to 6 volts. But upon discovery, where I showed you earlier that choke wire was wired in, it was too much draw on the circuit. So yeah, I have it where that clamp is on the wire, that's coming right out of the fuse box. That's the ignition feed wire. It runs through all this over to where I spliced it. If you look on here on my timing light, it has a voltmeter. So right now I have it clamped up there and it gets 12 volts. The second I touch this, now I have 9.9 volts on that wire. And that's all it's going to power the ignition. Now nothing got something moved. There we go, back to 12 volts. So disconnecting that, and the car starts. So we're going to have to, isolate that circuit on its own. But I guess we can prove to him the car runs.
Yeah.
Go for it. There you go, once again.
Once again, we're making power, and our timing is at 10 degrees, 8 degrees.
I have it at 8 right now. I wanted to make sure it didn't ping, because we were having ping issues before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see how it is on 8, and then we can raise it from there.
Okay. Alrighty. So it's running, tape up that, secure that, and until it gets cold, we just won't have a choke. So Justin's got it now. Now it's time to reset the timing. You've seen videos like this. No YouTube video ever correctly shows you timing because the shutter speed on the camera never matches the shutter's, you know, the timing light. Actually, this one's pretty darn close. You can kind of see it down there.
If this was gas money garage, we could spend 2 hours with the car backfiring trying to figure out timing.
Yeah.